Welcome, tutors. I have some tips of online tutoring. You will be getting a PDF of this, like this PDF, but I wanted to go a little more in detail of each one. So, a thing that I've learned over my many years of tutoring is that it doesn't matter if you're tutoring in person or online, you need patience. Because you don't know exactly what the students are going to understand, what they're not understanding, their thinking processes, and what's going to click and what's not. So it's very much time to be patient. 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 Probing questions. Always good to have. It helps us to know what the 2D knows and also what they're thinking. It's the process. Let's say they're doing a math problem and they're trying to solve for x, and there's x plus 3 equals 9, and they're wanting to move that x over to the right side. This would be a good time to say, why do you think we need to move the x over? To kind of see what they're thinking about. Out. And it's even more important for online to ask these questions. In person, a lot of times we can deal with body language. Of are they understanding it? Are they trying to pretend to understand by how they're acting? And how they're moving and talking and these little gestures. With online, we don't always have that ability. The ability to do that. So we have to be more cautious. We need to ask more of those probing and open-ended questions to get what they're thinking, to get to their process. Because if they are doing something a little different, it's not bad, but if they're not thinking about it in the right process, it's going to mess them up for later down the line. It's important to know that, oh, x plus 3 equals 9. We need to move the 3 to get the x by itself. If we move the x is still not by itself. And be very descriptive when you're talking. Be specific. Mattering if you can see the problem, if you can't, to make sure the student understands where you're at. If you ask a student with working on a writing essay, why did you put a comma here? And they're not sure which comma you're talking about, it can be very confusing, very frustrating for you and the student. So you could say, in the sense, I took my 2 dogs out and played with them. Okay, why did you put a comma before my? Yeah. So, being specific, being something in a way where they understand what's going on and what needs to be happening. Tutoring on a computer. Online tutoring. You're on a computer. So, things you must have to be successful to tutoring on a computer. Online. You need access to a computer. You could use a phone, but you will have less functions that you can do on the phone. So the best thing is to have access to a computer. Second, have access to internet. If you don't have internet, you can do video conference. It's one of those weird things. It happens. And then a quiet place to work. You don't want a lot of background noise to distract you or your 2D. So having a quiet place to work, like your room, where there's little distractions and you guys can both focus and work together like you would in a library. Things you have, but it's not needed, but could be very helpful. headset or earbuds with a microphone. I prefer headsets. I don't like earbuds. They hurt my ears. So it's up to you. But it helps to cancel out the noise that's around you, for you can hear your 2D better. And it also helps cancel out some of the noise with what's around you for the 2D. For they can hear you better because the microphone's closer to your mouth and it's not picking up a lot of the other stuff happening in the area. A writing tablet or art tablet, and it's something like one like this. There's many different versions. This is one of my personal ones I do for art that I sometimes use for tutoring when I'm working from home. But it's something that you can write on. So if you're using like a visual whiteboard or a paint program and you're able to write on the screen, it'll be like you're actually writing, what makes it neater and a little easier for everyone to read. Video camera. Again, not a necessity because there are varying on what kind of computer you have. If you have laptop, desktop, how old it is, it might not have a camera. So, not a big deal. It's very helpful because it turns it more into more of a what would be like in person, but totally okay to not have. If you're tutoring just with chat, because there's no microphone capability, no headset capability, there's something. If it's on the tutor's end, on the 2D's end or your end, it happens. Communication. Be descriptive. If you could write down the sentence as the student says, okay, how can we reword this for the student knows exactly where you're talking about. If you're working with a problem, make sure if you're working with like a fraction, you're saying the denominator is 3 if they're not sure what a denominator is, the bottom of a fraction. Being descriptive where they can know where you're talking about. And also, tell the students what you're doing. If it's going to take you a little bit to read their paper, to give them suggestions, tell them, by the way, it's going to be a little silent while I read this. Oh, I'm going to read the statistics problem. So I'm going to read it and then we'll start discussing. I'm not really sure about this concept. I know it, but I need to, but it's not clicking. Let me quick look it up. Be specific for if there's silence in the typing end, they know what's happening. And they're not thinking you just left the computer and just forgot about them. Miscommunication. This can happen quite easily. Because when we read, we think we understand the tone that's being spoken. Not always. You might think someone's being snappy when they're just being casual. Maybe it's just how they speak. So you never really know. And also, type professionally and no sex lingo. Make it where it's understandable, but remember not everyone uses sex lingo. I know I don't, and when they use sex lingo with me, I tend to ask coworkers what does this mean, because I don't use it and I don't know what most of the sex lingo means. So you never know for sure what the student's gonna think, and it's not very professional. And again, with all of these, be patient. Typing through a chat only to tutors takes a little more time. It's a longer process. So be patient. Tell the students that. Encourage them to be patient too. Tutoring with Google Hangout. All students at ACU have Google Hangout. They have a Gmail through the university. So it's something that you all have access to, what is awesome. I am making more videos about Google Hangout and will be sharing them with you of different strategies to use and how to work it and how to set up appointments and everything like that. As much as I think you might need to be able to do. Sharing your screen, you can use a program or program kind of like Paint. Being an artist myself, I have a lot of different programs where I can do artistical things that I sometimes use while tutoring because I can click bullet out and show them how to do steps. The students can also show you in case they're working on a problem and they have access to it through their computer. What's awesome because then you can see what they're working on and work through them with them. And again, be patient because you never know. Oh, there might be technology problems. There might be something glitchy with the internet or something. Just being patient because it's all new for everyone right now. Other tutoring tips. There are other video conferences like Zoom, FaceTime, Skype, and more. I don't know them all. I don't really use a lot of them. If you can use these other ones, if the student also wants to use it, do not make them get something that they don't want to get. So if they don't have a Skype account, please don't use Skype. It's kind of the same way if you don't have a Facebook and can't do FaceTime, you don't need to get one to do this. Because everyone has a Gmail through ACU. And most often, be patient. I know this is totally new to all of us, and it's totally difficult at times because we don't know what's happening. And that's okay. So just be patient. Be patient with the students, be patient with your supervisors, be patient with yourself. And that's it. Thank you and talk to you guys later.